challenge.
And they responded big as you get Eaton coming from the outside with a long J. That was Tyler Roth, rather. And then you get Lang coming down the court on a break, and Lang managed to get his first points of the game right there. Then a good reverse pass. Up to the far side, little kick there. Evan Eaton nailing one from the outside.
Seconds to go.
And then there it is, the baseline. Shot going up. Now watch this last. A lot of people are asking, was this a three? Let's take a look down here and see. Hagee's going to let it go. Watch his foot to see if we get it right there. Just behind the line, and it was a three. So that was the first half, an exciting first half, and it's 34-31. Chester leads here at halftime.
And we'll see some numbers and some very interesting ones, starting with Chester really struggling from beyond the three-point arc at 1 for 11. Mount Lebanon, as they've been able to respond, and they've also done a pretty good job of holding Chester at bay in that second period anyhow in rebounds, although the Clippers still have a huge margin, and obviously the inside game of Chester, the big difference so far.
Well, the free throws are the big story here, and the threes as well, a little bit. Mount Lebanon with 2 more threes in Chester, but also 14 of 16 for the free throw line, because right now Chester 24 to 6 points in the paint. That's a differential. They've also got a big differential rebound, 23 to 13. And on that, 13 to 4 on the offensive side and second chance points. Chester leads 10 to 6, but it's not as bad as it was the first quarter. So you've got a Mount Lebanon team that hung in there in the second quarter. They started to fight back and they started to box out. And that's really what it was all about.
Eric Wright with 12 to lead all scorers for Chester, with DeQuan Walker with 9. Luke Hagee with 12 with that 3 at the buzzer. Paul Lang with 7. The top scorers for the Blue Devils, 34-31, and Mount Lebanon will start with the basketball in period number 3. And immediately a turnover as Maurice Nelson comes up with a steal, feeds it up ahead, battle for the basketball. Which way will we go? We're going white, which means it's white Mount Lebanon's basketball.
What Chester has the ability to do is to turn their defense up a notch. And right now, the first 5 minutes of this quarter, the first 4 minutes maybe this quarter, are going to be paramount for Mount Lebanon if they want to stay in this basketball game.
Hagee will come back, take the basketball, being guarded there by Maurice Nelson.
I like the physicalness. Mount Lebanon has really reacted to it well.
Eaton to Lang. Lang trying to force his own way into the bucket, comes up too strong. George Hensler battles for the rebound, kick out. Roth for a deep 3 in the tie, comes up no good. Hensler with an offensive rebound. Outside, Hagee will try to tie it up. He comes up no good. Long rebound, it's Maurice Nelson. A 1-on-2 for Maurice Nelson. He rolls it off the glass, no good, but he's fouled.
How about that? Mount Lebanon getting 2 offensive rebounds, doing their best imitation of Chester. See Joe David, he likes what he saw there. His team is going to the glass hard.
Foul is on Tyler Roth. That's his first foul of the second half, sending Maurice Nelson still looking for his first points at the foul line, and still looking for his first point. Frustration as you start to see the shoulders stooping a little bit for Maurice Nelson.
Well, Chester is used to creating new offensive opportunities and cashing it in, and right now they're not cashing in as well as they'd like.
An 80% foul shooter, misses the second, but a lane violation would have waved it off anyhow, as Eric Wright slipped in there a little too early. So it's a turnover instead against Chester, and it's now Mount Lebanon basketball. The Clippers will respond with a 1-2-2. No problem for the Blue Devils to get it across half court as Hagee takes care of it, and they'll get it back between the circles.
They're keeping Granberry back, so they always use the guy that Granberry's guarding as the release man down the floor.
Roth gets a screen from Hensler, decides not to pull the trigger, gives it up instead to Eaton.
Mount Lebanon is starting to get into a little bit of an offensive rhythm. We saw it in the second quarter. You've seen it again here. Look at this.
Great crossover dribble by Eaton. His first field goal, he's got 7.
They cleared everything out to the right side of the floor. Eaton crossed over and had nothing but daylight to the basket.
It's now a 1-point basketball game. Chester on top of Mount Lebanon. A game that the Clippers led by 9 in the first quarter. Into the corner. A 3 off the fingertips, no good. Battle for the rebound. Granberry tipped it up, and he end up knocked to the deck. All after the missed 3 from Lamont Church in the corner.
Should be on Lang.
And if so, that'll be his second. Second personal foul on Lang, second team foul on the Blue Devils, and it will send Granberry 4 points in the first period, looking for the 2 shots here for the Clippers.
Again, the free throw shooting right now, not what Chester would want here to start the third quarter.
After a brilliant performance by Mount Lebanon in that first half, as we said, 14 for 16 at the stripe. As Chester started to have the fouls mount in that second quarter, Mount Lebanon got into the bonus and made the Clippers pay and climbed right back into the basketball game. Granberry 1 for 2 there. He's got 5 points. It's a 2-point difference. Great job of beating the pressure as Lang will take it across half court. Eaton gives it right back to Lang, who dribbles himself a little too far into the basket, but it was last touched by the Clippers as DeQuan Walker had his hands on it, but he was out of bounds at the time.
Nice give and go there for Lang, just wasn't able to find the handle on it. Once Lang coming straight back to weak side.
Hagee looking for him on the lob, hit the backboard as he threw it in. So a turnover for Mount Lebanon, they're 7. Nelson for 3. Still coming up empty.
Mount Lebanon now wants to get back down into that little bit slower kind of move.
Hagee, however, takes it to the glass, rolls it off it for 2 more.
Or not. Kick it to the basket instead. I'll tell you what, this team has really been the attacker here since about midway through the second quarter, and they feel a new verb in the game.
We are tied, 35-35 inside of 6 minutes to go. The Mount Lebanon faithful across the floor from us on their feet.
You're not seeing Chester running the court, penetrating anymore. They're standing there, passing the ball around the perimeter.
Tell you what else you see is Maurice Nelson turning down a wide open 3. This time it's Wright who puts it out, Wright with the offensive rebound off the missed shot by Walker, and foul, bucket counts and a timeout called. Chester calls the timeout with 5:32 remaining. Clippers call a timeout. They're back up on top, 37-35.
Okay, take a look at Luke Hagee right here. Number 12, he has been dynamite, going at the basket right there as you saw him last time down. Finding an opening, and now here he comes again. He's an attacker. There he was to end the first half. Put behind the line, big 3, has his team fired up. Here he comes again. Look at this one. Going hard to the basket, challenging, kind of looping it up, a little French pastry under the hand there. And gets the right kind of spin to get it on home, and Mount Lebanon has pulled it within 2 now.
That's the final game of a busy weekend here at the Bryce Jordan Center. 8 high school state championship games, all brought to you live in your living rooms by the Pennsylvania Cable Network. There is a recap of what you've seen so far. As we mentioned in game 3 yesterday, the Mount Lebanon girls won a PIAA gold medal, and the Mount Lebanon boys trying to fight their way back from a 9-point deficit in the first quarter to see if they can too take home a state championship like the girls team did as well. This Mount Lebanon team, as we said in our open, is a very good basketball program under Joe David. Last year they were ranked as high as 17th in the country. They were, however, upset in the PIAA playoffs by a neighbor of theirs, if you will. North Allegheny bumped them in the semifinals and ultimately knocked them out of the playoffs, but they finished their season with just 2 losses at 26-2. So this is a basketball team that has used to a lot of success. Chester with a steal after a dangerous pass in the middle of the floor that Eaton couldn't hold on to.
Chester wants to get back into attacking mode here, and for that they've got to start making baskets so they can set up the press.
And there's a foul and a reach around from Hensler. That'll be his 3rd. Team foul 3rd as well. Chester will inbound.
Now take a look. Here's the post up down and low. Good job of trying to switch the side, but in doing so, reaching around there, getting called for the foul.
And in comes the guy, Gary, who I think really changed that complexion of the basketball game in the second quarter. Dylan White in, for Hensler as Hensler picks up his 3rd. Eric Wright, goes right at White and picks up 2 more. There's a whistle the other way, and a ball kicked out of bounds. It'll be a foul, however, on Granberry.
Well, there's Dylan White right away running the floor, too. And Dylan White, I'll tell you one of the plays that really kind of exemplified what you're talking about. That moving screen out there, we kind of shivered the guy. I mean, he came in and maybe added that element of saying, hey, there's nothing to be afraid of here, guys. Let's stand in here and let's start getting physical. And from that point on, it almost seemed like Mount Lebanon became a little bit different kind of team here in this game.
Dylan White will step to the line. As you see, he's Timothy White in the program. He goes by Dylan White as he misses the first of 2 foul shots. And a very good football player, good lacrosse player, in addition to his abilities on the basketball floor. And he's all part of it. That Mount Lebanon team, as I alluded to, lost a couple of very good players in Evan Pierce and Dayon Turman. But Luke Hagee and Paul Lang did a little recruiting for the football team. They brought Dylan White along with him at 6'5", and they also brought Tim Qualina, who will come off the bench at some point in time, a 6'8", 295-pound offensive tackle headed to Virginia to come out for the basketball team. And we got an offensive foul going to be called against the Chester Clippers, it appears. We'll go the other way after the timeout. 4:56 remaining in the 3rd period. Chester 39, Mount Lebanon 35 when we come back. Huddled around its head coach, Joe David, who was an academic All-American at Pittsburgh. There you get a good look at the head coach for the Mount Lebanon Blue Devils. He runs a physical therapy business in the city of Pittsburgh, and he has created a scholarship at his alma mater, Pittsburgh, for physical therapy. And his team has clearly, Gary, responded to the way he's coaching this basketball game.
Well, he's coaching it in stages. I mean, every time down is a different stage. He's changing up defenses constantly, trying to pull the reins in on his kids when they want to try to run with Chester, allowing them to attack where they can.
And there's a reach-in foul, and not a good one by Eric Wright. That'll be his second foul against the Clippers, third foul against the Clippers in this second half.
Done a little bit better job this second half not fouling, but they didn't react quite so well the first half as they kept on kind of fouling and got themselves in some problems.
Granberry now the only one with 3 personals for Chester. He's out of the game right now. Lamont Church, Eric Wright. And there's a steal by Maurice Nelson. Nelson ahead of the pack after he takes it away from Hagee, who blocks his shot out of bounds, but gets contact as well. Hagee will pick up the second foul. Maurice Nelson will shoot 2.
That's a good call. And what happened there was that Hagee was standing still trying to receive the pass. You've got to be meeting the pass against this team because Chester's always going to be up in the lane against you. Watch this. And Hagee comes back and says, I think that was a clean block. You decide.
Got him with the left hand, however. Got the left hand, his left hand on Nelson's left shoulder. And Maurice Nelson will shoot 2, and that is the first point of the basketball game for 14 points per game average Maurice Nelson. Chester team is a very good three-point shooting team, and they have won in this game.
This allows them to set up their defense where they want to. Watch how tough they are now when they can do this.
Also opens up a 6-point lead and problems for Eaton as he loses the handle on the basketball and turns it over. Inside right with the reverse layup for 2.
See what happens when they make their shot. Sounds like such a simple thing, but then it allows you to put the teeth of your defense on the baseline. Joe David calls timeout. He knows exactly what he used to do is slow it down again.
His team letting this one get away from him a little bit. He'll call a 30-second timeout, with Chester now on top by 8 at 43-35. The Clippers on an 8-0 run since the game was tied at 35 apiece. 4 more in this quarter as the orange and black Chester Clippers are here in abundance, and there's a lot of blue and yellow on the opposite side as well. Pretty good crowd on hand for this Quad A state final. Chester and Mount Lebanon, they're seeing themselves a pretty good ball game.
Well, Chester's starting to extend the lead again, and you're at crunch time right here if you are the Blue Devils.
And there's a ball tipped out of bounds. Last touch by the Clippers, Daquan Walker.
Yeah, you really need to respond with a bucket here somewhere. Take as long as you need to get it.
Again, an 8-point run right now for Chester, and this is what Chester does. They'll turn up the defensive intensity at some point in time, and Roth, the 3 over the top of it, got it.
There's the answer. Chester, by the way, showing a 1-2-2 trap that time in three-quarter court.
So that ends the 3-point run. It's a 5-point game as Roth's got 8, 2 of them are 3s.
And at half court, same thing on the other side of the Blue Jays.
Nelson still can't find the bottom from 3-point range. Ball tipped into the corner. Great hustle by Rondé Jefferson. Throws it into the backcourt. Nelson saves it to Hagee. Hagee going to go right back at Maurice Nelson. Shot is blocked. We'll see if it's goaltending. And a foul going to be called.
Now, let's watch and see what he has here.
Mount Lebanon wants a goaltending in addition to the foul. No signal as of yet. Going to be a 2-shot foul. So Luke Hagee will shoot 2. It was not going to be a goaltending call, but it is a foul. Let's see what we can find out here.
See what you think. Up? Is it coming down? Can't really see well from that particular angle, but
it's Maurice Nelson who got called for the foul. It's his first, team's 4th.
Well, it was close. It was close.
Hagee at the foul line now 5 in a row, and the kiss of death makes him miss it. 43-39. 4-point difference on the scoreboard in favor of the Clippers. 3:30 left to go in the third quarter.
Back in the 2-3 zone now.
Jefferson on the kick. Church on the drive, draws contact and a call blocking foul on Mount Lebanon.
What Chester likes to do, they'll take the ball to one side against the 2-3, and then you come back and attack it right away on the other side because you know that guard is sliding over into the middle. Take a look right here, you can see it. Hit it back to the other side, then go right into that seam and attack and try to get into the guts of that zone.
Hagee trying to draw the offensive foul, but you can see there clearly the feet still moving. So Lamont Church will step to the foul line and he'll shoot 2. Hagee's 3rd personal foul. Player who needs to stay out on the floor for Mount Lebanon to be successful. Church well short. Church struggling with his game offensively, averages 13 plus a game, 1,200 plus scores, 16th all time at Chester High School. He has just 2.
Chester 8 out of 12 the line so far, 66.7%. Not bad, but just not great.
Devon Griffin checking into the game for the Clippers. Church able to roll the second one home to make it a 44-39 game. Chester in the 1-2-2 with Nelson out at the top.
Now they want to try to restore their offense here at half court.
And there's a foul as Hagee came to get it, and a near steal turns into a foul instead on Lamont Church. That's his third.
There's really not a need for that. I mean, you're coming up to get the steal. You really don't have to come up like that and foul.
Tried to time it, was not able to do so, and now he'll come out of the game. Tamir Butler will come in. Butler, a 6'4 junior, hit a big 3 for the Clippers in the first half.
There you say Larry Yarbray Sr.
Actually hit the only 3 for the Chester Clippers, which is astonishing in and of itself. The way Chester can shoot threes, but they have not been successful tonight beyond the arc.
Good motion here.
Roth has been successful. This one partially blocked, appeared by Butler. Lang with the offensive rebound. Up strong off the glass for 2.
And that's really the first time you've heard from Lang here in the second half.
It is his first points. He's got 9. Scored all his points at the foul line in the second quarter.
Back to within 3. It's as close as they've gotten since the early moments of the game. Really since halftime.
Rondé Jefferson trying to go against that zone defense of Mount Lebanon. 2-3, 3-2, whichever way you want to look at it. And there's a steal. Roth comes away with it. Rondé Jefferson had it stripped up ahead. Evan Eaton will lay it in, scores the bucket, and is fouled.
That zone has got Chester so frustrated right now because the fronts of it are changing from 3 to 2 to 3 to 2. And they're trying to penetrate, got it stripped, and then all ahead. The hard layup on that side by Eaton, and then he's going to go to the line with a chance to tie this up.
Tamir Butler gets whistled for the foul. We were tied one time at 35 apiece. Chester responded with 8 straight points. But as Mount Lebanon has done time and time in this basketball game, they fight themselves out of a hole and in a position to tie it up if Eaton can make it, and he does. 10 points now for Evan Eaton. We're tied for the second time at 44 apiece.
16 out of 20 for the line for Mount Lebanon, 80%.
Chester faithful trying to rally their team even though they're in a tie. Rondé Jefferson misses a shot. Great box out down low, and Hensler pulls it away. He's in trouble in the backcourt and calls timeout. Smart play, George Hensler.
What you call perfect.
Lebanon with the basketball with the opportunity to take their first lead. They can capitalize here. Get it across half court, but Lang's in trouble. Finally finds Hensler. Great touch pass from Hagee inside to Eaton with a reverse. Rolls off the rim, no good. Ball is tipped out of bounds. Last touched off the leg of Luke Hagee. And so it will be Chester basketball.
Ever so close to the lead bucket there, but just inches away.
Mount Lebanon going to extend the defense.
Early in the game when they did this, Chester had 2 passes, then drove to the baseline and distance. Let's see if they can do it again. Darius
Robinson into the game for Chester at the stoppage. Rondé Jefferson has trouble with it. He turns it over. And right back on a steal. Maurice Nelson, I believe, will get whistled for the foul. It is his second.
Fouls committed becoming the story here against Chester tonight. You can see some of the frustration there on Maurice's face.
That's the 7th team foul on the Clippers, so it's bonus time for Mount Lebanon. This is when the...
Well, I got news for you. Might have been one that Maurice could complain about a bit. He had the near hand, he tipped it away, and guy fell down. It's one of those calls you can say, well, just missed it.
Hagee got knocked to the ground and skinned the knee open as well. A little blood visible.
Take a look again, right here. It looked a lot worse with him falling down than it was, but it wasn't caused, I don't think, by the player. It was caused by himself in that particular instance.
Perhaps just getting a little bit too far ahead of himself, and Hagee has to come out of the game until the blood is covered on the leg. So it'll be Chris Bendel who comes in, and he'll shoot the foul shots for Luke Hagee in a 1-on-1. Again, that is the 2nd on Nelson, the 7th on the Clippers.
I like this, sitting on the bench the whole game so far, and you got to make a foul shot.
And he comes up empty. Jefferson with a box out. We're still tied at 44. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Three-point shot by Nelson, still off the mark. Jefferson's put back, no good. He draws contact, and that'll be Hensler, I believe, and if so, that's his fourth.
I'll tell you what, there's a war going on in there right now.
Yeah, nothing comes easy inside the paint. And it is Hensler who picks up his fourth personal. Dylan White will come back into the game.
Hensel and Lang just battling away on the inside there, but a great job by Rondé Jefferson of getting up and picking it out over the top.
Jefferson rolls one home. And a relatively quiet offensive game for Rondé Jefferson. Again, a young man with a world of potential, a 6'5" sophomore who handles the basketball a lot for Chester. And let me repeat myself, he's a 6'5" sophomore. Comes up short, however, on the second one. 1 out of 2, Chester on top, 44-45. So again, Mount Lebanon with the basketball. Chance to take their first lead if they can score here.
Iggy back in there with a knee wrap.
With the basketball, gives it up to Roth. Now they'll swing it around to Eaton. Right back to Roth, right back to Eaton. Eaton trying to shake loose of Tamir Butler, does so, gets it off the glass, no good. Butler pulls away the rebound. Nelson, one-on-one with Tyler Roth. Nelson cannot roll it home. Tip, no good. Follow, no good. Tipped out of there by Dylan White into the backcourt. Chester will let it go. It'll be Clipper basketball. Dylan White just slapped it out of there to say, look, I'm tired of seeing guys tap it up against the rim. Let's clear it out of here. Not the worst play in the world.
And Dylan White just wailed that out and said, okay, we'll live to fight another day here. We can set our defense.
Inside of 50 seconds to play third period. Chester on top by 1. Great Quad A final here at the Bryce Jordan Center.
And here again, the penetration is what has been lacking the second half, and that's where Chester, there you go.
Darius Robinson along the baseline. Griffin missed it. Up ahead, Hagee to Lang for the lead, got it.
Just as I said that, Chester got the penetration, missed the duck, and it looked like Mount Lebanon turning it around as Chester's been doing them so often tonight, and they've got a lead.
46-45, Mount Lebanon. Chester going to hold for one last shot to take the lead back for the fourth quarter.
Running out of time here, took it down to 5.
Nelson going to put up a long three, still can't get the find the bottom of the rim. Rondé Jefferson, good if it goes, it does not. The Mount Lebanon Blue Devils, 46, the Chester Clippers 45. We've got 8 minutes to play in the high school basketball season. Don't go away. They're 45 at a PIAA Quad A state championship. The Clippers with the basketball to start the fourth.
Sorry, Bob. They show 1-3-1 there. Drop back into that 3-2 zone one more time, I think.
Darius Robinson inside to Eric Wright. Back to Robinson, baseline 2, missed it badly. Lamont Church fights for the rebound, wins the battle, but a foul going to be called before the shot. Foul going to be called on Tyler Roth. That's his second. Team foul number 6. Send Lamont Church to the foul line. He'll shoot 2.
I say I think on some of these zones because what he's doing is playing some man-to-man within the zone there and matching up on specific things. So I'm not sure it's a straight matchup, but he shows, first of all, 1-3-1, then the 3-2, and then he plays a little bit of like a matchup zone inside that. So 3 different things in one possession down the floor. So if it's confusing us, imagine if you're out there handling a basketball and thinking about that.
And if nothing else, it's just making Chester play at a slower pace than they're accustomed to. Again, a team that averages 76.5 points per game. Starting the fourth quarter, they had 45. Now they have 47, and they have the lead again at 47-46 as Church goes 2 for 2.
Well, it takes away the flow and the rhythm that they like to play with.
Top of everything else, Mount Lebanon has turned it over just 9 times. Lang frees himself inside with that wide body. He's got 13.
See what Lang did there, though? He got down, turned around, squared his shoulders, and banked it home. Nice job.
13 points for Paul Lang. Blue Devils back up on top by 1. 2 ties, 3 lead changes in a basketball game. They've all occurred in this second half.
So you've taken away all the penetration, has Mount Lebanon.
Jefferson with a good entry pass inside to Wright. Wright draws contact. He's going to shoot 2.
Wright was just going up with a hope and a prayer on that one, and he managed to throw it up in the air and make it look kind of like a shot.
Yeah, I think you wanted to kick it outside, but when he felt the contact, he smartly just threw it at the rim. See it here.
Watch this. He's going up. He's looking. Do I have anybody to pass it to? I don't know. I think I'll just throw it.
Foul is called on Tyler Roth. That's his 3rd as he picks up back-to-back fouls. Right off the mark on the first one.